Avocado and cabbage, not your usual suspects to go together, but it really works. I'm going to put it into a lovely bright salad. I'm also going to give it a little texture by adding a crumb to it, a crumb that has some anchovies and walnuts through it. So I've just been heating up some grapeseed oil, then in with some fresh breadcrumbs. I like to use fresh breadcrumbs for this so we get a lovely, lovely crunch. And that's just old bread. So I've always got a little bit of bread hanging around at home. So 1 to 2 day old bread, cut off the crust, place it into a food processor and then blend it and you get this lovely crumb. So I'm going to keep an eye on that while we continue on with the salad. We'll add the other 2 ingredients later on. So into the bowl, I'm going to start with my dressing and then build the salad on top of that so we can toss it all together in the one bowl. We'll start with a pinch of salt and some pepper. And this has pecorino in the dressing. If you don't like the intense flavour of the pecorino, of course you can just use Parmesan, or if you want a lighter version of this, leave the cheese out completely. So in with the pecorino, just freshly grated in. It's not only going to give it a savoury flavour, but it's also going to thicken up the dressing. In with some lemon zest, so the zest of about half of this lemon, using a fine grater, and the juice of half a lemon too. Cut that in half and a really good squeeze. Now this is the acid component to it, so if you like, you could actually just use some white wine vinegar or red wine vinegar too. And to bring the whole thing together, extra virgin olive oil. Fantastic. Just grab yourself a fork and give that a really good whisk. All right, dressing done. Next, we're going to add some onion. Now, I like to start with the onion because it's quite harsh raw. So if I add it to the dressing, it's going to mellow out and soften. So very thinly, we're going to slice that. Just a red onion for this. That should do it. Before we add them to the dressing, let's have a look at these crumbs. Ooh, see how they've completely transformed? They're toasty, they're golden, and that sound? They're becoming really crispy. I'm just going to give them a little longer on that low heat. Now, onions, break them up in your hands, just separate them, and then into our dressing. Using that same fork, we'll just give that a stir just to coat them. And let's just let that sit there while we prepare the rest of the ingredients. So sticking with that purple theme, a little bit of red cabbage, straight onto a mandolin. If you don't have a mandolin, just finely slice it. I like the mandolin because it gets it super fine. All right, that's looking good. And then into our bowl. Sprinkle that in. And then we'll fold that in. Let's just let that sit there for a moment while we finish off the crumb. So now that these are golden, I'm pretty happy with that. So we'll add our walnuts and just a big handful. Grab our knife and just cut them up. We want it to be quite fine, so run your knife through this a few times. Almost as fine as the breadcrumbs. And I want the same amount of breadcrumbs to the hazelnuts. We'll pop them into the breadcrumbs. Great. And you can turn the heat off now. Okay, we'll give that a little toss. And the anchovies. I've got 4 really good quality anchovies. You'll taste the difference. And I'm just going to finely chop them. These are going to be speckled throughout our crunch on the top of this. So if you don't like anchovies, of course, you can just leave them out. I love them. Okay. Now just grab that fork again and we'll just sort of press down on them and separate them. And that right there is great texture for any type of salad. All right, to plate this up, we'll get everything ready to go, and at the very last minute is where we get our avocados ready. So ripe avocados. I always buy my avocados quite firm, then place them in my fruit bowl with bananas and other types of fruit, and just let them mature over a couple of days, and you'll see that they ripen up nicely, just like that. Take the seed out. Just get rid of that. I'm going to cut them into quarters. I don't want little bits of avocado in this. Nice, chunky bits. And this is the easiest way to peel them. Straight down, and they'll hold their shape. And then I'm just going to place them in our salad and really gently coat them so they get a little kiss of that gorgeous dressing that we've made there with the pecorino. So I'll just fold that together. All right, to plate this up, nice generous amount, little avocado on the bottom, cabbage, some more avocado on top. I love that colour contrast. And to wrap it all up, some crunchy walnut, anchovy and breadcrumb, nothing else required. That is a really nice salad with simple ingredients, cabbage, avocado, and I think what really makes it is that crunchy topping there with the walnuts and anchovies.